Okay. I gotta make sure this is all working, by the way. I'm gonna go to my, uh... Okay, wait, so it's public? I think it's public. Right? I don't know. I think it's public. I mean, it'd be kind of dumb if it wasn't, honestly. Actually, can I check? Can I check? Okay, yeah, it's public. Cool. Alright. Okay. What's up, guys? This is a pretty, impromptu video. I just kind of thought, yeah, let's do it. Why not? You guys know I love Survivor. I thought, let's do it. I mean, I know I am definitely not a Survivor YouTuber, but I thought it'd be fun. I don't care this doesn't get a lot of views, but I want to do it anyway because you guys know I love Survivor. I just got a PC update. That's cool. During my... Oh my goodness. Wow. But I don't know. Should we wait a bit or should we start? Actually, I'll give you a little explanation. All 40 seasons I have watched. I watched every single season. That's pretty. Actually, I'm gonna do something quick. I'm just gonna. I don't know if I'm doxing myself right now. Whatever. All right. Oh, what I just realized. Maybe that gives away a video. I don't know. Guys might be wondering why I have Banjo Kazooie. But all right, let's go. So we have the tier list. 1 through 40. I guess let's get right into it. I don't care. I know a lot of people haven't watched Survivor, but if you haven't, I don't know. Let's get right into it. So we got the first season, Survivor Borneo, which actually doesn't say Borneo. It was actually just called Survivor. I think it was actually called Survivor Palutiga. Oh no, definitely not. If I'm looking at this critically, right? If I'm looking at this critically, so like looking at other seasons, man, I think it gets a B. I think it gets a B. And look, it obviously it started the season. I mean, it's okay. I might put it. It started Survivor. So obviously, I don't know, man. Okay, you know what? It has one of the best casts, and that's really impressive because it's the first season. I mean, Richard Hatch, Rudy Bosch. I mean, obviously, rest in peace. Sue Hawk, say what you will about her now. I mean, back then, obviously, a great Survivor won as a C tier. Okay, no, that's a bit harsh. It's between these two. I know a lot of people like the older seasons. I prefer the new-ish seasons. I might have to move it down to a B. Okay, yeah, it hasn't aged well, but you gotta realize at the time, some of the stuff they said there was okay. I mean, even though Rudy says a lot of stuff that isn't really good nowadays, he's so funny. He's like, I like when he says I like Rich because Rich is obviously gay, and he says not in a homosexual way, of course. That is so funny. That is so funny. I don't care what anyone says. It's so funny. Obviously, Richard Hatch, if he hadn't won that season, I don't think Survivor would still be around. Richard Hatch was way ahead of his time. Oh yeah, Jervis too. How did I forget Jervis? Jervis, obviously in season 27, is great. We'll get to him later. It has one of the best casts ever. Probably not one of the best winners. There's still a bunch of stuff that Rich could. He has a bunch of flaws with this game, but for season 1, Rich is an amazing winner. And no offense to Kelly, but if Kelly wins that season, I don't think Survivor has a 40th season. So it gets a B. Australian Outback. It's between these two. So Australian Outback, right? The cast is still really good. I still really like the cast. I think the cast is still pretty good for that. But the post-merge of Survivor, the Australian Outback, is probably one of the slowest post-merges in Survivor history. It's so slow. It is so slow. And especially the finale If you guys don't know, in Survivor there's a final 2. That's how many people are at the end too. And the finale starts with 3 people. So you get a 2-hour premiere where only one person gets voted out. I don't know why. Also, there's 42 days instead. It has probably one of the slowest post-merges ever, and it got really boring to watch at some points. And obviously, you have Michael Skupin from this, and you have, Jeff Varner from this, who are 2 pretty problematic people in Survivor now. Obviously, the Jeff Varner stuff we'll get to in season 34. And Michael Skupin is just a horrible guy to begin with. So I think it gets C tier, but Colby Donaldson, Tina Weston, obviously great characters, great survivors. Colby's one of my favorite. Let's get to Survivor Africa. I think out of the first 3 seasons, I think Africa's the best one, but I don't know if I should just put it above Survivor Borneo or if I should put it in A tier. Obviously, Ethan comes back at Winners at War as the early season for Winners at War. We can have a bunch of characters too. Ethan, Big Tom, Lex. There's so many good characters. I think Clarence. I don't know how Clarence hasn't come back. I think he's one of the best merge boots ever. But I do think it is the best out of the first 3 seasons. But I don't know if I should put it at A or B. That's. I mean, there's obviously Lex getting mad over him getting 1 vote is amazing. But Africa's an A, yeah. I think I'm gonna go A. Obviously, you got Lex, Big Tom, Ethan. I think T-Bird is pretty underrated. I don't know how she hasn't come back yet. I don't think there really isn't a dud besides maybe the first 3 votes. Obviously, Frank is really funny with Brandon. With the Brandon and Frank stuff is really funny. As Brandon, definitely being gay, and then Frank's there, the older guy. The Silas boot is really satisfying. It's A. It's an A. But Marquesas, I know a lot of people like Marquesas. I think it is. I think it's slightly worse than Australian Outback. Obviously, Boston Rob is from this season. Who obviously Boston Rob is pretty good, right? I think Giuseppe as a winner is okay. I think she's kind of underrated, but I don't think she is the best winner, actually. From the first 3 seasons, I mean, Rich is obviously the best winner for the first couple of seasons. It just, I don't know what it is about Marquesas. It feels slow. But obviously, the first ever big move happens in this season with them flipping on the Road to 4. And so that's pretty cool. The first big flip happens in this season where they flip on the Road to 4. That's cool. Yeah, C tier. Yeah. I think it's C tier. I think it is a C tier season. Boston Rob, like I said, is from this season, but not a lot of remember people besides Kathy. She's good. I don't know how John hasn't come back. I think John's pretty underrated. Second merge boot. He was obviously the figure out of that alliance until they got turned on. It's a C tier. Thailand. Okay, wait. I gotta make a new tier. Hold up. Yeah, it's a Pagani, yeah. Thailand's the worst season of Survivor. Thailand is the worst season of Survivor. I don't care what anyone said. The winner, the winner is good. I think, Brian Heidick's good. Obviously a horrible human being, but Brian's a good winner. This is the worst season of Survivor. Every single other season of Survivor is watchable. Thailand is not watchable. Thailand's the only season when I was watching, I actually stopped watching and skipped to another season because it was that bad. Thailand is the worst season of Survivor. I mean, Clay's funny. Sometimes his joke land. It's such a dark season, and obviously the stuff with Brian Heidick, getting revealed what he said to Ken during the season. I'm not going to say because it's really bad, but it's such a dark, boring season. It's super slow. Xian's probably the best. Xian's definitely better in All Stars, but she gets taken out early anyway. It's bad. But, and there's also a rumor, I don't know if you guys ever heard of this, that Thailand was actually the second season made, but because they thought it was so bad they didn't air it. I don't think that's true. But they rebound in Survivor Amazon. Survivor Amazon is better than Borneo. The stripping for peanut butter is pretty funny. Rob Sesternio is in this season. That's cool. I think Rob Sesternio is probably one of the better strategists, or close to the best strategist. Probably he might be from the first 7-8 seasons. Rob C's great. There's not really a dud in this cast besides like I don't know. Butch wasn't that great, I guess, but it's such a memorable season. Obviously, the Amazon's a great location. I think the gender dynamics obviously didn't age that well with the season because it was a men versus women season. But the season's great. I think I would rewatch it definitely. Here we go. Okay, so I know a lot of people like Survivor Per Islands. It's probably the best C tier. Yeah, it's what can I say? So obviously, Outcast Twist. I don't like it when people who get voted out come back into the game. Uh, I do not like it when people come back into the game. That's something I'm not a big fan of. But and also that Lil comes back. Burton, I like Burton, but the fact that Lil comes back, and Lil is such an annoying character. Yeah, how did I forget Heidi from the 6th season? Yeah, Lil is such an annoying character. I know a lot of people like Rupert. I'm not a Rupert fan. I don't even know how he's a hero. Like Rupert in the 7th season comes off as like a jerk. You know him like just bursting at Fair Play, which say what you want about Fair Play, but he just started yelling at him. It was like really mean spirited. I mean, obviously you get Sandra, who's the first 2-time winner from the season. That's cool. You get Fair Play, who Fair Play is cool, and the dead grandma lie, one of the biggest moments from reality television. But man, and just Lil is so annoying. I'm a big Andrew Savage fan, so to see Lil flip, and I mean obviously there's a reason why Lil flips because Andrew Savage voted her out. I hate seeing Andrew Savage go pre-merge. He's a merge with this season. Just not a good season. All Stars. All Stars is for when I first heard about All Stars, obviously it was a disappointment. It was definitely a disappointment. I think it's not B. It's man. I think All Stars slightly. I think All Stars slightly better than Pearl Islands. It's just such a dark season. You get 2 quits this season, and Sue and Jen. Obviously, Jenna's is more justified, I guess you could say. But it's just like I just wish that Jenna hadn't come out there then if she was going to quit early, so we could get someone else in that season. Obviously, there's a lot of questionable choices this season, like Amber, Alicia, Jenna. No, not Jenna. Sorry, Amber. Even Boston Rob at the time was a questionable pick. Nowadays, he did it, yeah, obviously. But at the time, Rob was a questionable pick because he was a merge boot. Not and even in Marquesas, like he wasn't like the best character. I don't think in Marquesas. There's a bunch of just weird pick. Obviously, and then you get them just all hating on the winners, which I guess at the time is understandable. But then you get the Rob and Lex stuff, and I think Lex comes off as pretty hypocritical because he gets really mad at Rob for backstabbing him when he just backstabbed Colby and Ethan, two of his like best friends outside Survivor. But no, I don't know. Like the Sue Hawk quit, it's so weird. Like I don't know if it's justified or not. It's like that weird gray area. I think Jenna's is more justified, but like you get 2 quits in Survivor All Stars, like that's just weird from the start. It's just, and the winner, obviously Amber, like the winner of Survivor All Stars, Amber, who was like probably the 18th pick because there's 18 people in this cast, was probably her or Jenna Lewis was the 18th pick. It's just, yeah. Vanuatu is an A tier. I know a lot of people don't like Vanuatu. I personally really like it. I think Chris Daughtry, I don't know how to say his last name, Chris Daughtry, I don't know, as a winner is a really great winner. That's one of my friends just texted me. Chris Daughtry as a winner is such a good winner. Like the fact that he's able to trick basically all the women into keeping him over the people that they had a strong alliance with is crazy. I think Chris Daughtry is probably one of the best players out of the first 10 seasons. So that's fun. Rory is a great merge boot. He's so funny. It's really sad that he goes home early, semi early. Also, that one confessional, I forget who's in the confessional, but there's a literal earthquake during the confessional. That's awesome. That's so awesome, and you don't get that nowadays. Why don't you like Vanuatu? Vanuatu is great winner. The Julie Berry stuff with Jeff Probst is pretty funny as well. Palau, I don't know where to rank this. I think it would. I'm not going to put it in a C, but I don't think it's better. The winner is probably my favorite winner out of the first 10 seasons. Tom is a top 10 winner, probably, I would say. Tom's definitely a top 10 winner. Tom Westman, and just the way he was able to control Karor is so great. The Oolong stuff with them losing every single challenge is just, it's such a train wreck of a tribe. But Oolong, it has some of the funniest people. James is that's his name, right? Yeah, James is super funny. It's just such a train wreck of a tribe. It's fun to watch them. I mean, it kind of gets sad at the end when Stephanie's the only Oolong member left, and this is the only season without a merge. I don't even was there a merge buff, because Stephanie just gets absorbed into the Karor tribe, which is interesting. But then she just goes home 2 votes later, which is kind of anticlimactic. But I mean, just watching Tom just lead his tribe to victory every single time, it's great. But Palau seems like a knockoff season because of the cast bigger and the season just feeling different, in my opinion. I do think Palau feels different. Obviously, the stuff at the beginning with 2 people just getting ejected from the game because they didn't get picked and the Schoolyard pick is bad. But I think it's here. Guatemala. I think Guatemala is underrated, but in saying that, I still think it's a C tier season. It's better than also. I'm gonna put it in B for now. It's the worst B season though. I think Guatemala is underrated, but I'm still gonna put it in the B tier. So yeah, it was absorption, not a merge. Yeah, I know. Did I say it was a merge? If I said it was a merge, I didn't mean to. I used to like Danny a lot from this season, but watching her in Winners at War has definitely soured my opinion on her. Obviously, you get Stephanie and Bobby John coming back, but they don't even it's not really even that important. Because I'm pretty sure the players who have played in this season don't know who Bobby John and Stephanie are, because it's the season right after Palau. They film back to back, right? So I don't even think they know who they are. So it's that part's kind of weird. Location's cool though, but it's just the fact that only Danny has came back from the season is insane to me. Like how has Judd not come back? Judd is such a funny kid. That the part where he's like, she told me I have ADD. That tribal council is so funny. But I just can't think of a lot of rememberable moments outside that. But I think as a whole, it's pretty good. And I think Panama's better than Palau. Obviously, one of my favorite players, actually, if you guys know, Terry Dietz from this season, which Terry Dietz needs to come back because his second chance got completely ruined. Gary Hawkins, the humble landscaper. How did I not mention him? Yeah, that's funny. And it also, first ever idol is from Guatemala, and Gary, the landscaper, finds it. That part's really great. First ever idol play, but then we get to Panama, which, I mean, that older men's tribe or whatever, it's so weird that there's just 4 tribes at the beginning: younger women, older women, young men, older men. That's such a weird division because it's only there for one tribal, and they get swapped into. I don't know why that is. That's really weird. Exile Island was pretty cool. I think it was I know it got introduced in season 10, Exile Island, but I mean, just Terry, one of my favorite players. I'm so sad that he didn't make the final tribal, because he would have easily just swept the jury if he made the final tribal. There's a lot of great characters. Aris is probably the most boring winner ever, I think, right? Aris has to be one of the most boring winners ever, though. I mean, just the entire season was the Terry show. you got like getting Terry. It's every single episode just talking about Terry, and for Arvis to win is just really weird. Like I don't know why they didn't give like obviously Arvis got screen time, but he probably should have gotten more screen time. I mean, Sari comes from this season though. Shane being naked when they medically evacuate Bruce is so funny. It's so funny. And Sari's from this season. That's cool. A lot of just great players. And Terry needs to come back. And then I think Danielle is better in this, better in Heroes versus Villains. I'm actually kind of glad that they brought Danielle back because, like, from this season, she's pretty forgettable. But in Heroes versus Villains, she's like way better. So, good pick there. All right, Cook Islands. I did not like Cook Islands. I thought it was a C tier season. Yo Kwon, great winner. Probably top 15 winner. I don't think he's in the top 10. Yo Kwon, obviously a great. We get introduced to Ozzy, Yo Kwon, Jonathan Pinner, and Parvati. Which in this season though, Parvati's like a non-fat, and Candace is fine, I guess. But I think people forget that like Parvati really isn't important in this season, and she almost wasn't even on Micronesia season that she wins. I think that people just think about this and thinking about, oh, we got Yul, Ozzy, Pinner. But outside of that, like the rest of this cast is like a bunch of nobodies, right? Like there's a bunch of people in this cast that are just complete duds. I mean, Nate's fine, I guess. But a lot of this season were just really boring people in it. So that's the most backwards episode of Survivor Bruce. Yeah, it is. When he gets medically evacuated. But just there's not a lot of fun characters. But the characters that are here are good characters, which is why... Oh, wait, why is it behind Pearl Islands? Definitely better than Pearl Islands and All-Stars. Probably the best C-tier season, but... It has good... Seikyo is obviously a very funny first food. I think he's a good first food. But season as a whole, it's not that good. I mean, like, from the... Like, I had never even, like, seen the season. I instantly knew that either Ozzy or Yul was going to win. I think I need to get rid of D tier and just make it C to F. Survivor Fiji doesn't feel like a season of Survivor. Like I don't know like what I even mean by that. But when I watched Survivor Fiji, I didn't feel like I was watching Survivor. It's hard to explain. It was like this isn't Survivor. And obviously like this season has 19 people in it. Because if you guys didn't know, one person just quits right before so they couldn't get a backup. So there's 19 people in the season, which is kind of weird. Earl Cole's a great winner, but he's not good TV. And just like obviously this is like the first ever successful idol play with Yaman and actually the first fake idol, but it's boring though. And I mean this season, 18 out of the 19 castaways, and even if including the person that left the game before it started, 19 out of the 20 castaways are recruits. And the only one that isn't a recruit gets medically evacuated. I mean, Dreams is bad. Yaman's okay, but just so many forgettable characters from this season, and the season is just so easily won by Earl. Like it was light work for him. Like I at least like to see some challenge, But Earl just like dominates the game, and it has the worst ever the worst twist, I guess you could say ever. Where one tribe literally gets everything, like a shelter, food, like shower. I don't even know. They had like all stuff there. And one tribe gets nothing. Like, who do you think is going to lose all the challenges? So we get like cool players like Rocky going home early. It just, yeah. Yeah, Earl is in Dreams. Yeah, I don't like Dreams. He's cool. China, S tier. We're in the golden age of Survivor now. James, Amanda, Todd. Like, I'm so surprised that, I mean, obviously, like, outside of Survivor, yeah. I'm so surprised that Todd didn't come back for Winners at War. I'm very sad about that. Todd's a great winner. The stuff with Denise, like, after the season where it reveals that she actually, like, did get her job back and she had to, like, return all the $50,000 that Survivor gave her. That's funny. I mean, inside this, PG, look, which was crazy that she didn't come back for, like, another 16 seasons. It's crazy it took her that long to come back. And obviously, like, it's kind of like a Paganin at the merge, but it's an interesting one. Like, John Ribeiro goes home second in the merge, so the kind of shake things up. And then James getting voted out with 2 idols. It's such great TV. It's such great TV. James going home with 2 idols. That's great. And I also like that they went to China. Like I don't know why. Like if that's important to the season. There's not a lot of. You don't think Survivor? You don't think it's a S tier? Really? Yeah, Courtney. I think it's an S tier. Awesome B or A tier. Yeah, it's an S tier for me. It was very enjoyable. Micronesia. I didn't enjoy it as. I know a lot of people love Micronesia. I'm like pretty neutral on it. I'm pretty neutral on it. I think the winner of the season almost wasn't on this season. I find that so funny. How am I putting the B? No, I'm putting the A. What the heck is wrong with me? Here's you're really gonna make me rewatch Fiji? Nah. I mean, like I said, I rewatched every single one of these seasons besides Thailand. Fans versus favorites. If you guys didn't know, Micronesia was actually supposed to be an all-star season, but they couldn't get enough people on it, so they had to make it fans versus favorites. I mean, you get amazing characters like Eric. The thing is, though, like a lot of the favorites, like who are these people? Like they all get voted off pre-merge besides like Eric, and then Eric makes that a horrible move and giving immunity to Natalie, which is amazing TV. I mean, I think the first person to get voted out with an idol in the pocket, not having 2 idols, mind you. Ozzy gets voted out with an idol in his pocket. Jason gets voted off with an idol in his pocket. The auction from the season is one of my favorite auctions as well. Obviously, it sucks that Kenner goes home pre-merge because of medical evacuation, and James also goes home, not pre-merge though, but gets medically evacuated. That sucks, but we both see him in later seasons, so it's okay, I guess. But I know a lot of people put it in S. Me, it's an A tier. Survivor Gabon. Yeah. Oh yeah, the Chet and Joel feud. How do we forget about that? It's so funny when like Joel like hits Chet in the head, and he's like, "Oh, I hit my head back there," and he's like, "I don't care," and then he says, "I know." It's so great. Gabon. Gabon is such a train wreck of his season, but it's so fun to watch. Gabon's a train wreck of his season, but it is so fun to watch that train wreck happen. I mean, I just want to point out the confessional that Ace is giving, and an elephant interrupts him by like walking behind him is so great. Like, and I'm so sad that can't happen anymore because they don't go to different locations. But that's just such a cool thing to watch for Ace is giving a confessional, and he gets interrupted because an elephant walks behind him, and he's like, "Oh, look at that! It's an elephant. How elegant." Thanks for making your Forgotten Luck. I've been playing levels while watching your videos because I haven't known to play. Oh, that's sad. I'm sorry about that. You get it's just such like the cast everyone hates each other on this season. Like I said, train wreck of a season, but it's so fun to watch. It's so fun to watch this like train wreck happen. I mean, you get Sugar, like he gets major clunkers in this season, like Randy and just man and. Just it's so good. Charlie, he's funny with his antics with Marcus. I mean, I think there's a Corinne is from this season. I think Corinne definitely should have came back. I don't know how she didn't come back for Heroes vs. Villains. I mean, that jury speech she gives about Sugar, where she just says, "I hope you get like medication, whatever, for your dead father." Oh man, you think Gabon's a C tier? I don't know about that. Like, the cast isn't great, but like it's so bad. But it's so good at the same time. It's so bad, it's good. Obviously, Bob isn't a good winner, but the final 3 is probably the worst final 3 ever in Survivor history. Like, if I ranked ever, like, final 3s, it'd definitely be at the bottom, but it's so fun. Tocantins. I think it's an S tier. I mean, JT, Steven, Coach is from this season, and Coach is just an amazing character. I know Corinne eventually comes back, but I'm saying like she should have came back for Heroes vs. Villains. She comes back for Cameron. I know that. I mean, Coach is from this season. Tyson's from this season. You get so many good players from this season. I mean, say what you will about JT nowadays, but in Tocantins, he was a great Survivor player. Obviously, that's more questionable nowadays if he's a great Survivor player, but in Tocantins, he's a great Survivor player. Coach is such a fun character to watch with like all of his like stuff about him getting captured by Indians or whatever, and they're going to eat him. It's so funny. I love how like Jeff Probst constantly just kind of like passive aggressively argues with Coach during tribals. It's so good. It's so good. I mean, it also like JT loses a tooth during one of the challenges and just throws it away. Like he's like whatever and throws it away. That's such a cool moment I find. Like I know like no one really ever talks about the moment, but I think the moment is like really fun to watch. That he like doesn't care and he just throws away his tooth and like obviously he gets his tooth back like as a trophy, I guess. But yeah, and Taj, yeah, how did I forget about that? Taj, which I mean, I know she doesn't want to play Survivor again, but if she wanted to play Survivor again, she would have definitely come back by now. Samoa is, man, I don't. It's better than Guatemala. I'm gonna put it at a low B. I'm actually gonna move Guatemala down to C. So the thing with Samoa, right? Oh yeah, the auction where Debbie donates $50 and $20 increments into 70. Like I don't know how like that happened, but that's funny. So here's the reason why Samoa. If Samoa was edited properly, it would probably be an A. But because it's edited to where like the winner of the season, Natalie, I think it's 14 confessionals throughout the entire season. Like why? Why? Because they know who's going to win the season. Like Jeff Probst at the end reads the votes. He knows who's going to win. They tell the editors who's going to win. And Natalie, the winner of the season, gets like 14 confessionals. It's the Russell show. I mean, obviously Russell is great TV. Like I love Russell. He's great TV, but you need to give the winner more. She's probably like the most under-edited winner ever. I mean, and I get it. Russell's doing all of this. You need to see that happen. But Natalie needs to get more screen. Like, the only thing I remember for her is killing a rat. That's the only thing I remember her doing, killing a rat. Like, and like I think they eat the rat. I don't remember. I mean, there is good characters like Dave Ball or whatever. He's funny, but just it's the Russell show the entire season. And Shampoo is obviously cool as well. But I mean, and if Russell had won this season, by the way, it'd probably be an A. But because the winner doesn't get any content at all, like why would they do that? But if I'm not like including the winner edit, it's probably a higher B. But still, like you need to give the winner more content than that. All right. I'm gonna Survivor Heroes versus Villains is not an S tier. It's a high A. It's not an S tier, and here's why. The Heroes tribe in the pre-merge is so frustrating to watch. The Sugar vote, whatever. The Stephanie vote, whatever. But voting off Tom? Like why? I don't understand. And Rupert comes off as such an idiot this season as well. Like literally, Jeff calls out Rupert for being an idiot. He's like, going to tribal council sucks. And then Jeff literally calls him out. He says, Rupert, you're the reason why you're at tribal council. And he says, I know. Rupert literally says, I know it is, but I gotta stick to my alliance. It's so insane. I don't care. You can say it's an S tier all you want. It's not an S tier. The fact that they vote out Tom over James, I'm not saying that's just because I'm a salty Tom fan or whatever, but just the Heroes tribe is so annoying to watch. I mean, and obviously James is a total train wreck this season, and it isn't fun to watch. Like, James' character shifts massively. Like, he's such a, like, he's a jerk this season. Like, he's a jerk this season. Like, I don't understand, like, why? Like, he just turned into a total jerk this season. Like, always being mean. And also, like, I just want... Them voting out who they do vote out pre-merge is so stupid. Them voting out Tom is so stupid because Tom 100% stays with the Heroes at the merge. Like, if they don't get rid of Tom, it doesn't matter. Tom 100% doesn't flip over to the villains. And if they keep Tom, then they probably don't lose as many challenges, and they probably come into the merge with a 6-4 advantage. I forgot how many challenges there are after Cirie and Tom get voted off, but there's just no excuse for that at all. But the merge is a Pagani as well. Banana Kid, that's funny. The merge is a Pagani, but it's an interesting one, kind of. Like, it's like, okay, which hero is going to go home? It's not like whenever I watch another episode after the merge, it's not who's going to get voted out. It's which hero is going to get voted out. It's a top A tier, but it's not S. And Nicaragua is an F tier. Fabio's fine, I guess. But, like, Jimmy J quits basically this season, and they don't tell you that. I mean, it's funny how Chase Rice is now, like, a multi-millionaire, I think, like, country singer, and he has never talked about him being on Survivor after that. Nicaragua is bad. Bad season. Bad characters. Cast is major clunkers in the cast. I think it's crazy that Marty hasn't come back. I think that's just a testament to how much production doesn't like Nicaragua that Marty hasn't come back yet. And on the same thing, Redemption Island is slightly better than yeah, the only memorable thing was double quit. Yeah, exactly. The only memorable thing was double quit. The fact that there's a double quit sucks. Like Jeff, you can tell, is super angry when that happens. And Redemption Island is just slightly better. I mean, I don't want to say this season was rigged because I don't want to say this season was rigged, but it was so easy for Boston Rob. Like the Ometepe tribe is full of idiots. I mean, I guess Andrea's cool, but even this season, Ometepe, all they do is listen to Boston Rob. Like, and I guess Zapatero is fine, but just them, like, they're a bunch of idiots, right? Like, how are you going to let Boston Rob dictate your entire tribe? And the fact that Philip actually thought he had a chance of winning isn't. I mean, Philip's good TV, but I don't like Philip, man. He's hard for me to watch Philip. It's bad, man. And like I said, I don't want to say the season was rigged, but wow, was it easy for Boston Rob to win this season. He didn't have to do anything. Like, he found an idol. That was cool. But he just took over the tribe, and they just listened to him. And the only two people that don't listen to him get voted off, like, first and third. No, first and fourth, I think. I don't know. Yeah, exactly. From after episode 2, I was like, okay. After episode 2, I was like, okay, yeah, Rob won the season. There's no way he loses now. Like, Rob would have to have actually, like, gone out of his way to lose this season. They handed him that $1 million. But I guess it's cool now. Boston Rob and Amber, they're married and both the winners of Survivor. I mean, these early 20 seasons up until Philippines and Caramones and Big Clunker after that, this is the dark ages of Survivor because Survivor South Pacific, I think, is slightly worse than Redemption Island. Slightly. I mean, Jim Rice hasn't come back, which sucks. I mean, Cochran's from this season, and I think that Ozzy and Coach are probably better returnees than Boston Rob and Russell. I mean, obviously Coach is great TV, but this is the worst version of Coach. I mean, like, them using religion. Okay, I shouldn't say religion. They were like having a cult around Christianity. It's hard to watch. It's really hard to watch them like use Christianity basically as like a cult to win the season. Yikes. And the fact that Coach doesn't win also is like really weird because they don't really explain to us why Sophie wins outside of Final Tribal Council where Coach just really doesn't admit to his game. But I feel like they probably should have given more content to Sophie because she's a winner. And obviously, my opinion of her has gone up after Winners at War. But I mean, they make Sophie look like kind of like a jerk this season. And for her to win is like really weird because I mean, Coach got a winner's edit, like a really big winner's edit. You like South Pacific? Really? I might consider moving South Pacific up to a C, but like I wouldn't watch it again for a while. It's just really hard to watch. It's really boring. And on that note, One World is probably the third to worst season. Obviously, Kim, great winner. So happy she came back from Winners at War. But wow, is it boring to watch her win. It is really boring because they just basically hand over the $1 million. I mean, Troy Sivan's cool in this season. Like, this is my island. That's probably... The thing is, though, the This is my island is the best part of the season. That's kind of bad because it's just like a little quick thing where Troy Sivan just says, this is my island. You can't beat me. That's the best part of the season. Yeah. It's just, boring. Kim, I knew was the winner through and through from the beginning. They just handed over. How am I doing? I'm doing pretty good, actually. I love talking about Survivor. Kim's a great winner, so I think Kim is actually probably, like, if you're just looking at seasons, like, I wouldn't say Kim is the best player, but I think Kim's the best winner. And it's just such a boring season. The men's tribe is a total train wreck. Them winning the challenge and going to tribal council. Like, oh my goodness. Why? Like, why would you... And, I mean, actually, and Colton is major clunker. And he comes off as super racist. But the thing is, if you guys didn't know, like, I'm pretty sure this got revealed, like, some time ago. It turns out that Bill actually stole Colton's idol and threw it into the ocean. Like I learned that from like probably I think it was the Survivor specialist. I forgot who I learned that from, but apparently I don't know if this is true or not. But apparently Bill actually stole Colton's idol and threw it away, which they didn't tell us about. Um, you know, that's just like why wouldn't they show us that? That's a big part of the season. Why wouldn't they show us that? It's major clunker. Kim's a great winner though. In Survivor Philippines, close to. I think it's slightly worse than the results. I mean, Philippines is still like I think fits with the Dark Ages because it's a dark season. It's a pretty dark. I mean, obviously, Michael Scoopin. Say what you will about him now, but like he was okay during the season. I think he came off as way too cocky during the season, though. Like I'm pretty sure out of any player besides maybe Russell or Brad Culpepper Brad Culpepper, I think Michael Scoopin might have thought he was going to win the season after it happened the most. Like he was so confident that he was going to win that season. Like I cannot tell you how confident he was, but I mean we got Malcolm here. Denise is a great winner. The fact that Denise went to every single tribal council is insane. Like Denise never got a break. Denise went to every single tribal council. That is so crazy, and the fact that she wins too is like wow. Like how did that even happen? I feel horrible for Russell Swan. Like the Matt Scene thing was just so bad. Like I feel so bad for the Matt Scene tribe. Like that sucks. And I feel I really wanted Russell to do good this season. I wanted Russell to do good this season so bad, and it just didn't happen. He got voted out fourth. I mean, you got Pinner this season, who is I mean, Pinner is great TV. No matter what you do, anytime you put him on TV, he's gonna be great. I mean the tribal council where Jeff asked, I think her name is Angie. I think. Wait, Philippines boot order claims my OCD. Glad Denise won, but the season saw the rise of Malcolm. Abby Denise was awesome. Dude, the tribal where Jeff asks Angie, what would make this tribe better? And she says, if we could have cookies is one of the best Survivor moments ever. And the fact that Malcolm tries to defend her for a couple seconds is crazy. Like, Malcolm tried to defend Angie's answer. It was like, Angie, what would you do? What do you think would make this tribe better? It's like, if we could have cookies, that's so great. It's so funny. Satisfying ending. I think the finale is one of the better finales, actually. And Pinner the auction's also really funny as well. Or obviously, say what you get will about Michael, but Michael doing $500 just for like crackers and wine. It's so good. Caramoan. It has to be F, right? It has to be F. I mean, the favorites tribe had Philip in it, who was one of the most hated survivors. And like the favorites, I mean, I like Corinne, but she's not a favorite. And the fans aren't even fans. I mean, okay, I think Survivor Caramoan has the worst pre-merge, maybe outside of Thailand. I think Thailand's is slightly worse. Caramoan is like the second worst pre-merge ever. It is so bad. I mean, the fact that Francesca goes home first twice is cool, I guess, but I feel really bad for her because her being a first boot just made it so much easier for them. And like, even with saying that, why is Francesca back for a fans versus favorite season? She was voted out first. Why is she back for a fans versus favorite season? The cast is so bad. It's, pretty sad how bad the favorites tribe is. I mean, I guess watching Cochran win was interesting because he's a very good winner. But it's like they handed him over the season because everyone was just listening to him. All right? Mind you, by the way, I just want to let you guys know I love Survivor. Anything above F, I like. Like, I actually do like anything above F. But, man, the cast is just, it's rough. I mean, I think Cochran's pretty reasonable. But besides Cochran and I guess Andrea, I mean, Brandon Hance, obviously, that was, the Brandon Hance thing was really bad. And the fact that the Brandon Hance, just like I was just about to say that, the fact that the Brandon Hance meltdown is probably the most memorable thing from the season is really a testament to how, and the thing, the season should be good on paper. I mean, Cochran wins, who's probably one of the biggest Survivor fans, like maybe outside of Adam, ever. This should be a good season. Cochran wins, but it's edited so poorly. I mean, I think the cast is also bad. The Favorites tribe, just no one's memorable from it besides, like, Reynolds, maybe? And then, enough fans here. Blood versus Water is an, oof. I think it's yeah, pretty good. I mean, the fact that, like, Tyson went, it's so crazy that Tyson is a winner of Survivor. Like, the fact that Tyson won a season of Survivor is so insane to me But I mean, he's obviously a great player this season. He's definitely one of the top winners ever, right? I think Tyson's a great winner. Uh, I think Colton quits again this season, which I mean, that's probably the worst season. I mean, you get some really good play, like the fact that Hayden. Oh yeah. Also, Redemption Island works in this season. I would say any other season it doesn't work, but the fact that it's a Blood versus Water season that makes Redemption Island work. Because it's with family members. The fact that Hayden hasn't come back, what is so strange to me, because Sierra gets credited for the rock draw. I think Hayden should get credit for the rock draw, right? I mm, I think like Hayden definitely should get credit for the rock draw. He like told Sierra, like, you're on the bottom of the alliance, come over here, you have 3, make a big move. Like, that is such a masterful move by Hayden, and I'm so disappointed that Sierra gets credit for that, because I think Hayden should. And also, apparently, I know this. I'm just talking about Hayden. Hayden, I think, was supposed to be on the Cambodia ballot, but because he won Big Brother, I think I heard. I don't know where this rumor came from, but because he won Big Brother, they thought it'd be more like his third chance instead of his second chance. That's so crazy. I mean, let's talk about this. Brad Culpepper for his like 4-episode run, he's pretty fun to watch. I think Monica is a way better player this season than she was in 2024. And Jervis this season's so great. Like, you're going to the jury, believe that. He's so funny. I'm obviously like he's not that good of a player this season, but like Sierra gets more credit for the rock draw. However, Hayden was so yeah. I like I said, yeah, Hayden deserves credit, but Juris is so great this season. He is so funny. He doesn't get any votes, which like really confused me, because I thought he'd at least get 2 votes. But Juris is so fun this season. I'm so glad he came back. I don't know how he didn't come back for All Stars. And the part where he is forced to eat a grub again for the gross for gross food challenge is such a great. It's such a great TV move. I'm only going to be here for a few minutes. That's fine. Enjoy your stay. Blood vs. Water, great winner, great cast. I mean, it's crazy that Aris came back, because Aris is one of the most forgettable winners ever. But I think he's actually kind of good on the season. And then he brings us back Vetus, which, say what you will about Vetus nowadays, I think Vetus was a pretty good character this season. Cagayan is the best newbie. Okay, not the best team, but I think it's the best newbie cast season. I mean, you have Tony, Wu, Cass, Spencer. And the pre-merge boots is still like pretty. Like, Alexis is probably one of the better pre-merge boots. I think Cliff, which R.I.P. Cliff. Even like the players that aren't memorable, Jeremiah and Jeffer are still really good characters. Sarah is in this season, which, if you think about it, the Cops R Us Alliance has a 100% win rate, because Tony wins Cagayan, Sarah wins Game Changers, and Tony wins Winners at War. It's really crazy. I mean, the tribal where Sarah gets voted off is probably one of my favorite tribals ever. It's such a good tribal council. Oh, man. And the fact that Tony wins this season. Like, how did Tony win this season? He's such a master player. Like, I don't know how he was able to convince Wu to bring him to the final 3. But he did. And it's so... That was... Keep in mind, if that was any other player, Tony goes home. But it isn't. And you can't fault him for that. Tony is such a great player. Such a great winner. The fact that he wins twice is insane. Great player, great winner. And, yeah, he gets... Survivor Cagayan, I think, is the best newbie cast. Sadly, San Juan del Sur, I think, is probably around here. I don't know if I could say if it's a 8. I'm actually going to move Micronesia down to there. Yeah. So, yeah, I mean, I think Cagayan has the best newbie cast, right? I think San Juan del Sur, top B. Great winner Natalie, which is a weird saying because she goes home first and Winners at War. I mean, the move where Natalie, like, it's such a flashy move where Natalie gets out of her chair, goes up to Jeff, and is like, Jackman, did you vote for I told you to vote for? Is like such great jury management. Natalie, very good winner also. It's just, but the outside it, like, after Jeremy goes home, I think the season does get pretty slow. I think the pre-merge is pretty good. Actually, I think it's like okay. But after Jeremy goes home, I think the season gets really boring. But once the fight, like, after the Baylor blindside is a masterful move by Natalie. Skylanders. Skylanders are my favorite thing. I love this channel even more. Well, thank you, Lee SL Games. But I think there's a pretty boring stretch in between where where Blayler gets blindsided and Jeremy goes home. It's did it say best characters in the 30s? This is actually a 20 season. Well, it's 29, but it's whatever. Worlds Apart. Worlds Apart was not a good start for the 30s. I think the winner's good. I like obviously he's not Mike isn't a good player because he had to win immunities, but he's fun. He's good TV. Like him winning 5 immunities is so crazy. I mean, it wasn't that hard outside of Joe, but still. And the fact that he wins, I think he wins unanimously, right? Like, correct me if I'm wrong. Like, I haven't watched Worlds Apart in a while, but I think he wins unanimously. Will might have gotten one vote, actually. But I think he wins unanimously. But it's so fun to watch Mike. And I think Rodney's a funny TV, but it's a pretty slow season. And it gets kind of dark as well. I mean, Dan is just such a major clunker. Like, Dan is, he's a pretty bad person. And the fact that he gets, like, that steal a vote or get a vote, I forgot which one it was. It's just crazy. Dan is not good to watch. Oh, better characters when they came back. Okay, got it. But Dan is not fun to watch. It's a boring season. Like, I think they're good characters, but it's a boring season. I'm actually gonna move it up one spot for the Rodney with the dishes, washing dishes on my birthday. Like that part's probably the funniest part of the season. But it's a pretty boring season outside of that. Obviously, Joe now with him apparently, leaks came out of him that he actually used the N-word a lot in the season. That's not good. But final vote is 6-1-1. Yeah. Wait, Carolyn got a vote? I forgot. I was like, I thought it was like pretty close to unanimous, but yeah, thanks for telling me that. Survivor Cambodia. Yeah. Great winner, Jeremy Collins. Yeah, Mama Seattle plays great. That's pretty fun too. And the fact that So goes home first is like so great. Like So seemed like such a good player. But Cambodia is easy S tier. Jeremy Collins, great winner. I mean, the cast is so good. Outside of Monica, I have no idea how Monica came. Like, it's so weird. Like, I thought Monica was a pretty forgettable character from Samoa. But outside of Monica, I think all of them are good. Obviously, say what you will about Jeff Varner. I mean, but back then I wanted to see Jeff Varner come back. I mean, say what you will about... We'll get to Jeff Varner in a minute, but in this season, he was really actually funny to watch. I think he was fun to watch. I mean, I can't think of one boring person besides Monica. I mean, even Vetus, who was the first boot, was pretty fun to watch that first episode. It's such a good season. The cast is one of the best casts ever. I mean, because the fans voted for it. And, obviously it's going to be a good cast, right? I mean, it's so crazy. Great merge in season. I mean, also, that idol play from Wentworth. So great. Such great TV. I mean, Andrew Savage flipping off Abby Maria is so great. I love that. Obviously, the idol play from Kelly. Great. The fact that Kelly came back, I thought she was pretty forgettable from San Juan del Sur. But I'm so glad she came back now because obviously now we know she's a great player, which I think just shows you. I think Edge of Extinction in Cambodia show you that there are a lot of good players who went out in the merge just because. I mean, they went out pre-merge just because they got charged. I mean, if we're talking about Kelly, I want to talk about her dad real quick, Dale from San Juan del Sur. Dale's not a bad Survivor player. Dale was a good Survivor player. I think he just got swap screwed. Yeah, at least he made it to the jury. It's such a good line. At least he made it to the jury and then flipping her off. That's great. I mean, Keith wins immunity against Joe. That's so weird. Like Keith, like a 50-year-old, won immunity against Joe. It's so funny. Jeremy, great winner. I think one of the best final three is probably out of Spencer. Tasha is kind of a clunker this season. She kind of became unlikable this season, which is weird because she was a great player, I think, in Cagayan. I have no idea what happened in Cambodia. But a good final three in Spencer. And I think it just goes to show how good of a player Jeremy was that season because Spencer got no votes. No votes in that final tribal council. I think that just goes to show how good of a player Jeremy was this season. All right. Go wrong. I know a lot of people like this season. It's okay. It's okay. It's So it's fine. It's fine. I'm going out there. I mean, Michelle's not a good one. I know you're like, Queen Michelle, Queen Michelle. I like all seasons. I can't count how many I've seen, but I'm still gonna watch Survivor regardless after Pandemic 4. Yeah, I agree. I mean, and also season 40 is around the 41's in the corner. Let's go. Michelle's not a good winner. I know that people are like, Queen Michelle, whatever. But Michelle is not a good winner. I have like, and the thing is, they don't really tell us why Michelle won. Usually when we see the winner win, we're like, okay, this is why they won. I can't really point out why Michelle won, which is weird. And obviously, the medical had the most Robin winner. The highlight of the season was Scott Pollard, Blindside and Ty, not using super. Yeah. I mean, the Super Battle was cool, but just the story. So obviously, the Medivacs, Caleb, Joe, and I'm coming out blank on the other person, Neil. I don't know why Neil doesn't give his idol to Aubrey. Like, that's so weird why he doesn't, and then him getting voted off. And I don't like the twist. Well, I mean, obviously it doesn't matter that Neil gets voted off, but I don't like the twist where you take a juror out of the game. I think that Jeff thought that Aubrey would win that challenge. I honestly think that Jeff thought that Aubrey would win that challenge and get rid of one of the jurors like Scott or Jason. So they made that, but Michelle won it, so they're like, oh, okay. And the thing is, the reason why we have a new tribal council format is because Michelle won. Wait, they allow 16 and up now? I don't know that. I should probably start applying. But I mean, it's a good season. It has a good cast, but the story is all over the place. The medevacs obviously affect the season. It's not a bad season. And I think that a lot of people hate on Caleb, but Caleb was definitely making the merge in this season. And I think he just got swap screwed in Game Changers. But it's just really bad medevac. I mean, Aubrey probably wins the season if Joe doesn't get medevaced, right? And I think that just goes to show that Michelle isn't a good player, because if Joe doesn't get medevaced, Michelle most likely gets voted out like the final 4, right? Yeah, bad. Yeah. I don't know why everyone says Millennials versus Gen X is like top 10 season. I think it was B, right? Like it could go up to A. We'll see. Adam is a good player, but I thought he was. I know a lot of people like Adam. I thought he was kind of annoying to watch. And obviously it's very unfortunate what happened to him. I'm not knocking him because of that, but I just thought Adam was kind of annoying, and I don't really know what it is, but. I kind of like the new Final Trouble format. I think it's fine. But like I said, the reason why it got changed is because Michelle won her season. I think that Adam was annoying to watch, like I said. I can't really point out what it is, but I thought it was kind of annoying to watch. Pre-merge is pretty good though. I mean, for the most part, obviously one of the most forgettable first boots ever, and Rachel, I think that was her name. I don't even remember her name. Then we get the rock draw though. Actually, the rock draw is gonna move up there. Rock draw, Aubrey wins if the producers didn't introduce the jury vote off. Yeah, maybe. I don't know. That rock draw was so good. So and I feel so bad for Jessica, because I think she was one of the only people that was really opposed to doing a rock draw. And Jessica probably makes it pretty far this season if she doesn't get rocked out. I mean, David this season is really good. Adam is a good winner. Like I said, annoying to watch though. I think Hannah's pretty underrated. I actually kind of like Hannah. Obviously, Michaela. Her vote off is so good, where she literally she makes Jeff stop reading the vote so she could talk to Jay did you do that? Him just he's so cold blooded. Jay's just yeah, I did it. It was me. That's so cold blooded. He's just yeah, it was me. I did it. And Michelle, did I say Michelle? Sorry, Michaela getting voted out. So good. Rock Draw was so good. Fake Idol, Jay, that's good. So good. I think the youngest survivor ever. I think Will's the youngest survivor ever, right? But he's pretty forgettable. We get Zeke in this season, which we'll get to Zeke later, obviously. A good season. Game Changers. Yeesh. Okay, look. I think it's a low B. Yeah, did you just that? Yeah, I did. Okay, look. The pre-merge before Jeff Varner is also... The cast, a lot of questionable choices. Michaela, even though I love Michaela, questionable choice for Game Changers. Zeke, questionable choice for Game Changers. Jeff, Game Changer, really? I don't think Ty is a Game Changer. Tony's a Game Changer, but I don't know if I'd say JT's... obviously, JT's a good player, But is he a game changer? I don't know. I think this would have actually been a pretty strong returning player cast if it wasn't called Game Changers. I think the fact that it's called Game Changers is really like I think they just were trying to figure out a name for this guy. Like I think they got the cast and they're like, okay, what do we name it? And like, Game Changers. It was like Sarah isn't a game. I mean, I think now after Survivor 40, you could. It's a good debate if Sarah's a game changer, but before Game Changers, like no, Sarah's not a game changer. More than half this cast isn't a game changer, so it's like why? But I think it actually played the Malcolm tribal, which like obviously like such a shame that Malcolm goes home so early. But my goodness, is that a great tribal council, the Malcolm Tribal Council. Wow, it's so good. And the Tony vote off, the Sierra vote off. It's Sandra finally getting voted off. It's so good. It's so good. I mean, the JT vote off. So good. But then we get to the Jeff Varner stuff, and I think before Jeff Varner, the season was really strong, but once we get to the Jeff Varner stuff, it becomes super dark. And then the thing is, after the Jeff Varner stuff, they kind of just forget about it. Like they don't really talk about it at all after it. Like they talk about it for the beginning of the episode after that, but it's like after that, it never gets brought up. And the fact that like Jeff is just like okay with Varner, like they just talk like it was just a friendly debate, like in the reunion. It's so awkward. The Jeff Varner stuff with Zeke, it's so bad. It's so bad to watch. But after it, I think it kind of gets better. But after, obviously, the Jeff Varner stuff, it turns the season really dark. But I think before it was really good. But because the pre-merge is shorter than the post-merge, I think it has to go around here. Great winner. I think the winner is great. Sarah's a great winner. So, yeah. And say hi to Sierra to me. And watching Tony's vote off now is so funny now that he's a 2-time winner. Yeah. And let's go to Heroes versus Heroes. First of all, who named this season? Who named Heroes versus Hustlers? Right? That's such a weird name. I don't understand. Like, this is the reason why I feel like Survivor should go to more places than Fiji. You get weird things like Game Changers, Heroes versus Hustlers, Millennials versus Gen X. It's like, why? Why are we doing this? But I think it's a pretty good season. I didn't voice correct there. Sorry about that. I think a lot of people hate Ben. Obviously, I don't think his win is I don't think he's the best winner. Obviously, right? I mean, he needs idols his entire way. But I think he's fun. I think it's fun to watch Ben find idol after idol after idol, and him doing his Ben bombs. I think that's really funny. It's really cool to watch. His Ben bombs are like so great. I'm gonna push it above Go Wrong, honestly. But I mean, outside of that, though, I think Devin is a pretty underrated character. I think Devin is pretty fun to watch. That the final episode I think is pretty good actually. And the fact that Ben almost wins immunity but puts his U the wrong way, that's a pretty fun. Yeah, Ben is one of the worst winners, 100%. Ben is 100% one of the worst. I think my opinion on him went slightly up after Winners at War, but still, him needing idol after idol obviously isn't a good thing. Oh my God, Square Jack just uploaded the video. Wow, okay. It's obviously not good, but it's good TV. I don't think the season overall would play out good in the Survivor sense, but I think it had pretty good TV. I mean, the Allen vote off is so good. Like the Detroit Hollaback baby, it's so good. Joe is such great TV. Man, oh Monkey God, just donated $5. Thank you very much, Monkey God. That goes straight to St. Jude's Hospital. So thank you very much, Monkey God. Thank you for that. It's really great. Thanks you. I think it isn't good Survivor, but it's good TV. Ghost Island. Right there. Here's the thing. Ghost Island. Love Dominic. We'll get to Window. I love Dominic. Dominic is such great TV. But outside of that, I mean, the pre-merge is so unfortunate. I mean, the fact that James Derwin gets voted off second, it's like, why? Like, they pan them out to be like a mid-merge boot. He's second person voted out. And the Malolo, one of the worst tribes ever. And it's so sad when the VD goes to Malolo, when the tribe swap happens, it's so unfortunate. I mean, seeing Stephanie get voted off, seeing James Lynn get voted off, it's kind of hard. I mean, even Brendan, who was probably going to be like an early merge, but anyway, it's like, dang, it's really sad watching like all these good characters get voted off super early. And I think the Ghost Island twist was good in theory, but the way it played out was really bad. Like, I really hate these islands, Ghost Islands, Island the Idols. Whenever you go there and come back, instantly a target on you. Like, it's not even your fault sometimes. It's not even your fault sometimes. But the James Derwin lie, one of the worst lies ever in Survivor. That's a really bad lie. But the thing that knocks this season for me, I don't like Wendell, and there's a reason. I think I don't care what people say. I think Dominic was. People say Dom and Wendell, but it was Dominic. It was Dominic. You hardly yeah. Wendell had some input, but Dominic was making big move after big move. I think that fake idol move was really good, but it isn't good in the eyes of the jury, which is bad. And Michael, great player, but gets voted out. I think the bluff where Michael says the James idol can work on two people is one of the greatest bluffs in Survivor history. It's pretty believable. But the fact that Dominic doesn't win, it angers me, man. This is the first time ever probably where I was actually angry that someone didn't win. Besides Russell. I was so mad that Dominic didn't win. I mean, just the entire season, it's painted that Dominic is making the big moves while Wendell's in the second in command. And I think that it's just wow. It's Dominic should have been on Winners at War. I think the thing is, Dominic had 5 locked votes coming in the tribal council, and he just needed one more, and he just couldn't get that one more. He just couldn't. And even then, if Dominic goes to final tribal council against anyone else, he easily wins the game. He sweeps the jury, almost unanimous vote. He wins every single time and the only player that he doesn't win against is Wendell. And even then, he gets a tied jury vote with Wendell, where Lauren is it. And once Lauren was the final juror, I was like, it's over for Dominic. I find his game just so impressive. He's basically dominant. My words are getting slurred now. He's basically dominant the entire season, except for the pre-swap. I find his game so impressive, but just bad twist and stuff. Predictable winner. So yeah, it gets here. Survivor David versus Goliath, easy yes, right? David versus Goliath is probably the best. Actually, I'm actually gonna no. It's one of the better newer seasons. First of all, good twist. Even though it's a good twist, I think the tribes are so good, but it instantly makes you want to root for the Davids. You know what I'm saying? It instantly makes the Goliath tribe look like the bad guys. But it's still great. The John Hennigan blindside is one of the best blindsides ever. The fact that the minority splits the vote and gets one of the people in the majority voted off, it's such a masterful move by Christian and Nick. Nick is such a good winner as well for the season. I'm so glad that David won the season. I don't know Fire. The majority splitting the vote. I mean, just seeing their faces when the Idol and Oil Fire gets played, and seeing that first John vote, so good. Obviously, very unfortunate that Pat gets medically evacuated. But if we ever get a first boot season, which I actually think is kind of unlikely now, he's a lock for that. He is a lock for that. I mean, just great move, great winner. Christian is one of the best casting choices ever in Survivor history. Great cast. The only kind of clunker I see was the second vote off. I think her name was Jen. I mean, the Natalia blindside, where she's like, shut up, I don't want to talk to you anymore. And Alex it's just a game. It's such good TV. I loved watching this season. One of the better seasons in recent memory. Then we get to Edge of Extinction. I think Edge of Extinction is better than most people give it credit for. Obviously, the winner, Chris Underwood, is the worst winner in Survivor history. Right? I think that's really easy. But the thing with Chris Underwood is that once he came back into the game, he did everything he could have possibly done to win that season. And I found that really impressive with him. Even though Chris, obviously, worst winner in Survivor history, he got voted out third. But once he comes back to the final 5, he did everything he could have done to win the season. Rick Devens is also great TV. And Kelly Wentworth is great. I mean, David coming back, that's great. A really good cast. And I think on a rewatch, when you rewatch I think Edge of Extinction will always go up in your rankings whenever you rewatch it because you know what the twist is. The Edge of I mean, I might actually I'm going to put Edge of Extinction at a higher B. I mean, obviously it's sad that Devins loses. I mean, it's so funny when like Ron gives him that thing and he's like, "Oh, you want to be making me look stupid? My kids think I'm an idiot." It's so good TV. The really only like boring person are probably the final two. Well, the two of the people in the final three. I think her name is Julia. I honestly forgot her name, and I forgot the other people besides Chris in the final two because they were that boring. Wow, I actually forgot his name. I cannot remember his name. But the thing is, I think Chris played a better game, I think, than Julia and Gavin. That's his name. Julia and Gavin. I think that was his name, right? I think Chris played a better game in like 12 days or whatever than Julia and Gavin did in 39 days. I don't know. I actually no. I don't think that's true. I don't think Wardog came with all the strategy that Chris did. Chris like got Devins to convince him to give him half his idol. That's good. He got Lauren to convince him to play an idol for him. Yeah, Julie and Gavin. He got Lauren to convince him to play an idol for him, and then he did fire making against Devins. I think he could have done everything he could have possibly done to win that season. And he isn't trying to be higher on my winner rankings. He was trying to win the season, and I think that's. I think he's definitely the worst winner, but I don't think he's the worst player. Look, out of all the winners, he's the worst winner, but I don't think he's the worst player out of the winners. I really want to see Chris Underwood come back for like a Heroes versus Villains or something because I want to see how good of a player Chris actually is. Okay, Island of the Idols. This is a hard one to talk about, obviously with the dance stuff. I think I put it higher than most people do. I think. Look. I'm about to defend the heck out of Island. I think it's a bottom beast season. Before the merge, I think Island of the Idols has one of the best pre-merges. Easily one of the best pre-merges, right? Like, it's so the Ronnie vote off is so good. The Molly blindside is so good. The Chelsea one is a bit questionable. That's the one that I thought was. Look, yeah, we all knew that Tommy was going to win from episode 1, but that doesn't mean he's a bad winner. Tommy's a great winner. Dan stopped by the season. Yeah, obviously. I think it's an A tier if Dan wasn't there, which is really unfortunate. I mean, the Vince blindside. Like, the Chelsea one was a bit questionable for me. I think that Missy did that just to make a big move, which way too early to do that. The fact that Karishma, that Tom gets voted out over Karishma actually really upset me at the time. No, I don't care what people say. Tommy is a top 15 winner. He controlled that season so masterfully. He's a great player, I think. But then we get the Dan stuff, and I'm actually going to move it down a bit. The Dan stuff is just really unfortunate. I think, yeah, it definitely brings the season down. But like, if you don't look at the Dan stuff, it's really unfortunate because Kelly gets voted out with 2 idols in her pocket. That should have been such a big moment in the Survivor history. But the fact that obviously, Dan stuff happens just makes that go down. You don't focus on that, which is really unfortunate because Kelly gets voted out with 2 idols in her pocket. But also, the cast is so good. I mean, Jamal is such an elegant speaker. Tommy, I think, was a good casting choice. Chelsea, Missy, Aaron, basically everyone outside of Dan was a good casting choice. And even at that, they couldn't have knew that Dan was going to do what he did. And I mean, I think it does look pretty bad on production with what Dan happened. But I think outside of Dan, maybe not Molly. I thought Molly was kind of boring. Everyone on the cast was a great casting choice. It's weird that Jack is also part of the jury, but I think that's because they were doing that just in case Dan got ejected. But I think the cast is so good during the season, and it's so sad that it get yeah. All right, Winners at War is the best season of Survivor, right? First of all, Winners at War. I don't think people even debate this. Winners at War has the best cast ever, right? Like, I don't think that's even debatable. Winners at War, best cast ever. And a lot of players, like Sophie, went up in my... Like, I didn't think Sophie's like... After Winners at War, I think Sophie's a great player. I think Sophie's a really good player after Winners at War happens. The only thing about this season that is kind of rough for me is that all of the old schoolers go home pre-merge, but there is a reason for every single one of them getting voted out. Like, it's not that they're just targeting old schoolers, right? Like, there's a reason why they went home. But it is kind of sad to see the old schoolers go home. But, I mean, and the season had the best possible outcome ever in Tony winning. What do you mean no one did anything? Tony was so good during the season. It was so fun for him to watch this during the season. I mean, that confessional where he gets extorted is so good. And even though Tony was a pretty dominant winner, like, moves still got made during the season. I think Michelle was way more fun to watch in the season. What do you mean no one did? I don't understand. Like, what do you mean no one did anything? Every single person in the season did something, like, besides maybe Amber, right? And I think Edge of Extinction actually works in this season because it's all winners. Like, you don't want to see them go home, right? It's all I think Edge of Extinction is probably Winners at War is the only season where Edge of Extinction works. It works. I mean, we get to see Kim back. We get to see Sophie. We get to see Tony back. We get to see Boston Rob come back, who, like, Boston Rob has said so many times that he's never going to play Survivor again. But I think the thing with this season is, I think probably this is probably like the end of an era. I think that this is like a lot. I think a lot of players, this is the last time playing. I think this is like Boston Rob and Amber's last time playing. I think this is Tyson last time. This is probably Ethan's last time playing, right? A lot of these players, Tony. And even though Tony's still, like, in the grand scheme of things, a pretty recent winner, I think Tony's done now. I think he's done now, which is really sad because Tony's probably my favorite character ever. But a lot of the players, it just really felt like an end of an era for Survivor. It was, I mean, I actually kind of liked the fire tokens. And, like, them trying to find the fire tokens on Edge of Extinction was so funny. I mean, you know, Tyson calling Rob, like, an old, like, chap or whatever, that was so funny. I mean, Tony's ladder is such a good scene. With his ladder, every single player is, like, really fun to watch this season. And I think a lot of players, the only player I think that went down, in my opinion, is Danny. But I think Kim is still probably one of the best players ever. I think she was the only one that was able to figure out that Tony was, like, the main threat. But no one, like, sided with her, which is really sad. Nick is good this season. I'm so glad that Wendell got voted out. Yeah, Amber, Rob, Ethan, Parvati, Tony, Tyson, Kim, Yul. I think they're all done. I think Sophie actually probably might come back. I think after, before the season, Sophie, we're like, okay, yeah, Sophie's never come back. But after the season, Sophie actually is like, I actually like Sophie this season, which is strange because I kind of hated her in South Pacific. But I think a lot of players from this season went up, in my opinion. Obviously, it was sad seeing Ethan go home. I think Tyson was my winner pick, so it was sad seeing him go out fifth. But it's such a great gameplay, even though it was a dominant win basically by Tony. Seeing Cops R Us again, I mean, it was such an emotional scene where Sarah loses fire against Tony. And even though going in that episode, I knew Tony was winning because I heard it spoiled. They spoiled it for me that Tony was winning. Sarah got so close, like, for a couple seconds. I thought, even though I knew Tony was going to win, I thought, like, Sarah could win. And it was such an emotional tribal council. Also, why she mentioned I Know Pocket, I think that they probably didn't know about the rules of Edge of Extinction. So I thought, like, I think that, like, they probably didn't know about the rules of the Edge of Extinction. So, like, you know, they're like, I don't think Sophie knew that she could come back with her idol. I don't think she knew that her idol would be able to work. I mean, the Queenslayer move where Denise gets rid of Sandra, great tribal council. I was scared for a second. I thought Tony was going home. The only thing that, like, is really bad about this season is that Wendell stays for a while. That's the only thing that's bad about the season I can think of. That Wendell stays, because I don't like Wendell. There are so many... I think I was really hoping that Wendell went out where Parvati went out. But still, it's such a good season of Survivor. I really liked it. I think it's the best season, honestly. Look, yeah, Ben throwing the game made no sense, but Ben's story, Ben throwing the game for Sarah, that, like, perfectly wrapped up Ben's story. Because Ben's a soldier. he gave his life up for America or whatever, right? Like he was okay with putting his life down for our country, right? So I think I think that Ben laying his like life in the game for Sarah is perfect for his story. I think like that was a perfect end to Ben's story. So I actually didn't mind it that much. I didn't mind it that much. I think that was a perfect end to Ben's story because I don't think Ben's ever going to play again, right? Like Ben's definitely not ever playing again. I don't think. But that was a perfect wrap to Ben's story. Him laying his life down for Sarah to win the game, which I mean she doesn't go home next, but it's still. And yeah, the Wendell and Michelle beef is weird because like, do they hate each other? Do they not? It's like it's a weird, a fun dynamic though. I think Winners at War, best cast, probably best season in my opinion. But yeah, actually, I made my own separate tier for worst season. So I'm gonna make a separate tier for the best season. So let me do that real quick. Hey, the Knights of Skylands, you're kind of late. We're about to wrap things up, but it's fine. And I really hope that we get a good season in season 40. One, apparently it's going to be only 26 days, 18 players. I don't care how many days there are. I just want it to be a good season of Survivor. But yeah, so if we want to go over this real quick, best season, Winners at War. Worst season, Thailand. We got, and by the way, anything above C, I like. Like, even though I said there's a bunch of problems, I still like watching all these seasons. It's just that there's more problems with these seasons than this tier. There's more problems with this tier than that tier. So, this tier, it sucks. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Like, out of 40 seasons, only 7 that I actually hate. That's not bad, really, right? I mean, so, I like I said, I love Survivor. I think that Survivor is one of the most consistent shows ever, especially with there being 40 seasons. You can disagree with me however much you want. Thanks, William Edis, for being here the entire time. You're a G, my guy. Talking to me about Survivor. I'm so glad that someone else loves Survivor just as much as I do. But yeah, that is basically it. The worst season is Thailand, so don't watch that. The best season is Winners at War. I'm going to go on vacation a couple days to Alabama, which is like really far away. I'm going to be watching Survivor the entire time there. Thank you for doing this. This was so much fun. Yeah, it was so much fun having you here to talk about it. But anyway, guys, I hope you guys have enjoyed this. This little ranking I did right here. If you guys want to see some more Survivor videos, tell me. I guess this was pretty impromptu. I think Chris is coming back season 41. No, the rumored cast for Survivor. Actually, you know what? You guys want to look it up? I'll show you guys. Actually, I don't know. Will I? Here, actually, real quick. I will, but I'm going to do something real quick. I'm just going to do that. Is that? So, I'm going to, I'll show you guys. I've been here since the start, but I haven't watched the show. So I was like, oh, well, thank you, Pancake Animaties. Will this be a post on YouTube? I think so. Right? I think it does. Yeah, it will. It will. Well, it's going to be, a live stream on YouTube. Let me guys show you Rumored Survivor cast. All right. So this is the Rumored Survivor cast for 41. So, yeah. It's going to be an all newbies cast with 18 players. There's still 7 players that haven't been talked about yet. But, yeah. This is the rumored cast. So, Danny McCray, Houston Texans, Deshaun Radden, Dan Vogt, I think, Erica Caspon, Evie, Jenny Robin Chen, Richard Foy, Sarah Wilson, Chantel Smith, Sydney Siegel, Xander Hastings, which I think he is the youngest survivor ever. That's kind of cool, I guess. But anyway, guys, if you guys have enjoyed this